So how do you create an app that stands out? On today's Leaders, we're going to find out that seeing a need is really just the beginning. I'm going to find out about Get Assist, but Bruce is such an interesting guy on the outside. Behind all that, I will not forget to talk about Get Assist and how you got there. You said that you and your brothers, though, you're running Saskatchewan River Crossings, but you also ventured into other businesses. All successful? Everything you touched turned to gold?
No, of course not. No. We did, I guess, a notable project would be Lizard Creek Lodge and Condominiums in Fernie. Mm-hmm. And that was a big project for us. And that's where we pioneered fractional ownership in Canada, actually. We were the ones that, at the same time as a firm in Whistler was doing it, but we had pioneered that, and we were the first ones to market with it. So.
Which is much different than timeshare. For people who aren't familiar with the fractionalized ownership, just give us a snapshot of what that is.
Well, in fractional ownership, you actually take a fee simple title to the property. It's just divided at land titles, and there's different ways it's governed, usually with a head lease and an owner's association and blah, blah, blah.
So that was great if you launched that.
It was fantastic. We built 85 condominiums and sold them, and we built a main lodge with 14 condominiums, spa. It was 4.5-star lodge. Excuse me. Very, very beautiful. 4.5-star rock and big log. And the real estate play did very well, but all that money went back into the operations because just as we were starting to put up the second building is when the plane struck the towers.
Oh, wow.
And the travel and tourism industry just flatlined. And after that, it was a pretty good 10-year struggle till we were able to get out of it. We lost a lot of money down there, a lot of blood and treasure. But it was part of our personal development, part of, again, working with great people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to know about your dad because, as you said, a smart guy. He's a test pilot, comes from Ottawa to Olds for farming.
No, he was all over the world. My one brother was born in Marville, France on an Air Force base, and my brother dug out off Portage.
Right. You're
my
Ottawa,
sister and I in Ottawa.
Right. And so he comes to Olds, though, eventually buys a hotel in Olds?
Well, his family, 12 brothers and sisters, total of 15 of them, actually. And so when he went into the forces, he traveled and did his thing. But when he decided to get out, his older brother, Joe, had the family farm. And the two of them went in business together and bought this hotel in Olds, Alberta, and got into the hotel business.
And then down the road, that's where they bought the river crossing.
My father had retired at a young age. I think he was 40-something. And, kind of making the whole family crazy. Because he's a stickler for everything. He used to run his fingers above the doors. And you'd catch him at the end of the day. He'd still be vacuuming. He had to do something.
There's that military in him.
Yeah, my brothers and us would get after Mom, get Dad to buy the IGA, do something, get him out of here.
Right. Your father, though, eventually has ALS. How old is he when he's diagnosed with ALS?
I think he was 50 or 51, young man. Yeah.
And, ALS, we hear what a terrible disease that is. So you would have been a young man as well when your father was diagnosed with that.
Yeah, I was probably 18 when he got diagnosed, 19 maybe. And it is a horrible disease. I mean, it's just, I don't care how you look at it, it's one of the bad ones. And my mother took great care of him, and he lived well to the end. But it was hard on everybody, particularly hard on my mother.
He passes away when you still have about a year left in your university career?
Yes, and I believe I had one child at that time.
But he still was able to see you go back to university. It's funny, Bruce's wife, Kim, is here, and she just said actually you had 2 kids. But you know what? You can get lost in the details. But still, your father, before he passed away with this terrible disease, he actually saw you go back to university, and he probably knew that at least you're on the right path.
Yeah, he did. I'd left my big dreams of being a pro golfer behind in Florida. He made me give back my country club card because I didn't have anything, right? He was hoping I was going to go to school. And so when that passed, he'd go to work. But yes, he got to see me go back to school and do quite well.
Bruce has lost his father dying at a very young age of ALS. But you haven't been without your own health challenges. Twice you've had cancer?
Well, yeah, I had my first diagnosis, and they give you 5 years to call you cancer-free, but mine was was very aggressive and stage 4, and they said that if the first round of treatment didn't work, we'd expect to see it within 3 years. And sure enough, in 2.5 years, it was back again. It was stage 4. It really wasn't considered operable. My surgeon had to go to quite some big lengths to get a team together to do it with me. And
Wait, you have to tell people what the cancer was. So
It's,
what was it?
It's head and neck cancer.
Head and neck cancer.
It's called a squamous cell sarcoma, I believe.
But it started as just a lump on your neck?
No, I had just a swollen lymph node,
Right.
under your jaw. And I had it looked at by a doctor, and he just said, well, you had some dental work. It's probably just filtering out some infection. And
Right.
told me to follow up in a couple of weeks with my other doctor. But within a week, it was probably twice the size. It was really, I knew it was growing quickly.
Right.
So I went and saw another doctor. Mine wasn't in, but immediately they got me into a head and neck specialist. And the doctor looked at me before she'd really done anything but feel my jaw.
Yeah.
And said, it's cancer.
She could tell just by looking and feeling it.
Yeah, and my wife was down in the truck. I didn't want her to come up. I was just going in to see the doctor.
Yeah.
And I said, just like that, no tests, no anything, I've got cancer. And we made the decision to have the surgery.
How long ago was that?
I'm 5 years clean.
You're 5 years clean?
This July, yeah.
Wow, how important that is.
Yeah, because again, it was this whole 3-year deal.
Yeah.
Right? So going, and of course, I was also told there, when I got out of the surgery, and it's a big recovery, that I said, so what happens if it comes back? They said, there's nothing more we can do for you. So they won't scan, we won't do anything because there's nothing we can do. So getting through that 3-4 year period was, it was hard on us.
And that's why I tell everyone, you celebrate those birthdays. There's a lot of people who don't get to celebrate the birthdays, no matter how old you are. Bruce, we found out so much about you, but I have to find out about Get Assist because, you're operating the river crossing, Saskatchewan River Crossing. You've dabbled in other businesses, but then how did Get Assist come to be?
Well, that was how it came to be. This is a true story. Hang the light above the dining room table. Hang the light above the dining room table. Now, I built hotels, condominiums. We build all the time. I can certainly hang a light. But I'm busy. I'm a very busy guy, and I wasn't doing that. But at the time, we had gotten our family out of the Lizard Creek Lodge operation, and so I was down to just a business or two, and I was getting bored, and I was thinking, geez, what do I want to do? And I had done some private consulting, and I thought, well, I kind of like that. You pick what you get to do.
Right.
And so I started thinking, a boutique firm. I know a lot of guys with a lot of skills, so whether it's horses or boats or business.
Or electrician to hang the light.
Or an electrician to hang the light. I thought, what? I should put together a boutique firm with all these skilled guys on board.
Right.
And I was actually on 52nd Street Southeast, turning left onto 130th Avenue, just leaving my house.
I love how you know exactly where this was.
I'll
yes.
never forget that moment
Yes.
because it was a red light and I was turning left. And I thought, why are you thinking about this and why are you thinking so small? All these guys are already there doing it. And that's when I realized this is a communication problem. There is 56,000 small service providers in the city, and I'm a grassroots guy. I mean, I'm a grassroots team player. I'm a believer in grassroots. This were the hardworking men and women that drive the economy and everything else are grassroots people. And I know a lot of these grassroots service providers. And I thought, they can't advertise. They can't let me know that they're available to me. And yet, I need to get that light hung.
Yes.
And I'm willing to pay $400. It's probably a $100 job.
Shoot, I wish you had called me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But nobody wants to even hear that, right?
Yes.
You can't phone and say, listen, I don't care what
Yes.
you want, I'll pay you double. Buddy, we're not out in that area right now.
Right.
And so I saw it as simply a communication problem. So I looked to the number one communication tool of our time, and that was social media. So you can make requests and get help when you need it. I need to fix my stove when you want it, a price point you want to have it fixed at, send it off. We have over 800 Calgary businesses now on board in 4 months. We'll be 1,000 by the end of the month, 50 to 60 a week. Business gets it.
Bruce, thank you so much for being part of today's Leaders today.
Thanks for having me.